Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for February 14th. I have what I think might be more than usual to tell you about today, so let's jump on in. February 14th is the 45th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 320 days remaining to the end of the year, 321 in leap years. Today's word is dearth. Dearth is a noun that means an inadequate supply or lack, like a dearth of evidence, a scarcity that makes dear, like the dearth of toilet paper in 2020, or the dearth of food during a famine. The word dearth comes to us through Middle English, Old English before that, and although the form seems to be related to some Dutch or Germanic corollaries if you try real hard to associate them, the word dearth appears to be its own word, really. First known use of the word dearth is in about 1300. Dearth. We came by dearth today as I had used that word last week and realized it might be just unusual enough that not everybody would know what it meant. I think my viewers could detect its meaning from the context, but I asked that day if anyone would like to see us examine that word dearth, and sure enough, YouTube viewer at Rob Pricer replied saying that dearth does sound like a good word to unpack. Thanks, Rob. As always, if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, we've got several things going on today. First of all is February 14th, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Also known as St. Valentine's Day or the Feast of St. Valentine's. It's celebrated on February 14th. Best we know, it started out as a Christian feast day in honor of one or two Christian martyrs called St. Valentine, and has evolved into a romance-based holiday as we know it today. It's not an official state holiday anywhere that I'm aware of, but it is widely celebrated with red hearts, greeting cards, chocolates, and special dinners. While not a widely used name currently, apparently the name Valentine, Valentino, or Valentinius were more widely used in the past, and there are several historical individuals bearing one or the other of those names after whom presumably this holiday takes its name. Several historical people born on February 14th have been named Valentine as well. The story and exact origin of Valentine's Day is difficult to pin down for sure, but somewhere along the way it was assigned to the date of February 14th and became associated with love. Part of the myth about the Greek god Eros, who later became the Roman god Cupid, is that he used golden arrows to incite love and lead arrows to create aversion. Later on, Cupid came to be portrayed as this cute little cherub that we see in Valentine's Day iconography, along with the iconography of hearts and arrows that have come to be associated with Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day began to be popularly celebrated in the 1800s with the exchange of gifts of affection and handwritten notes and printed Valentine cards. Today's Valentine's Day is the second largest card-sending holiday of the year, right after Christmas. I'm sure you'll recall that yesterday was Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. As I mentioned then, Mardi Gras is the last big party before you gotta be good for a while. The next day, today, is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent, the 6-week period leading up to Easter. Ash Wednesday signifies a solemn reminder of human mortality and the need for reconciliation with God. Some faiths mark this beginning with a distribution of ashes and with fasting, which raises a conundrum. I'm sure it's happened before, but what does one do when Ash Wednesday falls on Valentine's Day? One of the finest meals I can recall was a Valentine's Day dinner with Mr. Bowers, Caesar salad made right there at the table, a perfect filet mignon. I'm pretty sure there were baked potatoes with sweet cream, lightly salted dairy butter, sour cream, and fresh snipped chives. And you better know we had an incredible dessert involving chocolate, strawberries, and a scoop of ice cream. Very rich, and in its richness, much better suited to Mardi Gras than to Ash Wednesday. So what will people do this year? I know people who observe Lent, so how does one handle Valentine's Day on Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is so called after the distribution of ashes from the palms used in the previous Sunday's Palm Sunday service. This serves as a memento mori to remind us that we are dust, and to dust we shall return. Serves as a symbol of our mortality to remind us to be mindful and to consider our part as a small component in something much bigger, and to be the best person we can be. Overall, I'd say that together, Mardi Gras, Lent, and Easter encapsulate a journey from festivity to reflection and finally to celebration, embodying themes of sacrifice, redemption, and renewal. Peace be with you. Goodness, this is already about as long a video as I usually do, and we have more to go, so let's get after it. Oregon was admitted as the 33rd U.S. state on February 14, 1859. Prior to statehood, Oregon was part of the Oregon Territory, originally organized in 1848. The area had been home to indigenous people for thousands of years before the first European settlers began arriving in the 1500s. Oregon is the 9th largest and 27th most populous state. Its capital is Salem, Oregon, and its largest city is Portland. There's still a lot of nature out there in Oregon: mountains, rivers, and forests. Crater Lake is in a volcanic caldera and is the deepest lake in the United States, 10th deepest in the world. Beautiful place with all that nature, Oregon. The origin of Oregon's name is uncertain. It could be either from a geographical reference from the days of the Spanish explorers of the West Coast, or it could be named after oregano, which grows in the southern part of the state, or it could be named after a river in Spain with the same or similar name, or it could be an adaptation for a French word that meant windstorm or hurricane, after the Chinook winds. Oregon's state bird is the western meadowlark. The state flower is the Oregon grape. The state tree is the Douglas fir. Oregon is also home to the single largest organism in the world, a fungus that runs between 2,200 acres, 8.9 square kilometers of the Malheur National Forest. Oregon's nickname is the Beaver State, and the motto is, "She flies with her own wings." Happy Oregon Day. Arizona was admitted as the 48th and last contiguous U.S. state on February 14, 1912. If you ever hear mention of the Four Corners region, they might be talking about this intersection right here, with the borders of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah meeting right here at an intersection, just like so many streets do. Arizona is the 6th largest and the 14th most populous of the 50 states. Phoenix, Arizona is the capital of and the largest city in Arizona. The state of Arizona does not observe daylight saving time, although the large Navajo Nation in the northeast corner of the state does. That Navajo Nation, by the way, is the largest area held by a Native American tribe in the U.S., and you might be able to see here that its boundaries overlap into New Mexico on the east and Utah in the north. Most of it is in Arizona, though. Arizona is home to some stunning phenomena of nature: the meteor crater, the petrified forest, the painted desert, and the Grand Canyon. In fact, Arizona's nickname is the Grand Canyon State. The meteor crater is nearly 3/4 of a mile wide, 0.737 mile, or 1.86 kilometers, and 560 feet, or 170 meters deep. It's figured to be about some 50,000 years old, an impact crater caused by an iron meteorite. I have a funny story about going to see the meteor crater and the Grand Canyon, and if you'd like to hear about that, let me know. I'll make a separate video about that. Back to today, though, other nicknames for Arizona are the Copper State and the Valentine State. Arizona's state flower is the saguaro cactus bloom. State bird is the cactus wren, and the state tree is the palo verde. While you're there, be on the lookout for the state reptile, the Arizona ridge-nosed rattlesnake, and they also have a state amphibian, the Arizona tree frog. As always, there's so much more to tell about Arizona, but we need to move along. This will be one of my longer videos already. Now, if you're wondering, I've talked so much already, what else could I possibly have talked about on this day? But if you're wondering what else I might have talked about in an episode for February 14th, I'll put a link up there for you. And believe it or not, there are more than one song named Arizona. One of them is the 1969 pop song Arizona by Mark Lindsay. Written by Kenny Young, Mark Lindsay released it as a solo effort while he was still with Paul Revere and the Raiders. It's a song to a girl. The singer laments that she's acting like a teeny bopper runaway child and wishes that she would view the world through more realistic lenses, although by the end of the song he decides to join her. The other song is simply named Arizona, and it's a country and western song written and performed by Rex Allen and Rex Allen Jr., and was adopted as a second state anthem for the state of Arizona in 1981. How about that? As always, links in the description. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. This is the birthday.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you. Me and my mouth. John, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We got to make that be quiet. You got to read the black part. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for, where's your microphone? Okay, we don't want to say the same thing twice. Get your microphone. What is it with you and this microphone? Okay, here we go. Okay, we are still recording. That's great. Okay. How about that? We'll have a lot to edit today. Cacophony is a sound. Cacophony is a noun that you got to read it the right way. Let's start over. It's 8 o'clock, so all of the reminders are going to be dinging. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, stop it. It's 8 o'clock. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.